Hi there, Sandedoll here. Just wanted to discuss something that I'm seeing happening in the world that's not healthy. And if we can move past that, it's going to be better for everyone. And I'll tell you a little story that kind of relates to it. So, what I've noticed is that people are taking responsibility for the emotions around things of others. They're taking on responsibility of other people's experiences, especially of them, that isn't their responsibility. So, someone else's experience of me and what I do and their emotion around it is not my problem and none of my business. Now, that's not to say that that gives me liberty to be rude and cruel to people. Although if I want to do that, I can. I'll probably have no friends. Or I may have the type of friends that are doormats and will take that. That's probably not healthy either. But no, others are not responsible for my experience of them, and I'm not responsible for their experience of me. So what I find is people are trying to preempt something negative from someone else just in case they're feeling that way about me. I'll get in there and manage that before I even know that it's happening. So I'll give you an example. I went to stay with a girlfriend in Victoria, BC, in Canada, and when I was first there, something was happening where she was trying to manage any negative feelings about her I might have. She's trying to get ahead of them before she even knew that that was happening. So I'll give you an example. I would be in the kitchen and I would be getting a pot, and I, was new there. I didn't know where everything was. Oh, can I help you? Are you okay? Yes, I'm an adult who can search for a pot by myself. But what she was doing was, because of past experience, managing that I might be upset that she's not helping me before she even knows that I was upset. So what ended up happening there was it became, whoa, too much. Like, I'm just okay. You don't need to take responsibility for my experiences over here, even if they sort of relate to you somehow. I'm okay, and it is my job to now ask you, hey, I can't find something here. Can you help me? But before I do that, not your problem and none of your business. And she had 2 children, so sometimes they would want to come down to my room and hang out. And she at first would be, oh, is it okay? I'm really sorry. Okay, no. You don't have to take responsibility for my experience around this or anything else. And if I don't want your children to come, it's my job to ask you, hey, could we, set some precedent here that, you text me before the kids want to come down? That's what healthy people do. If I have something I need to say to you, I will just say it to you. And then you don't have to spend any time wondering what I might be thinking. Is she upset with me? Maybe my kids came down. What is she thinking? So it took her a little time to recognize what I'm thinking about her is not her problem and none of her business. And if I have something to say, I will come to her and say it in a healthy manner. I just feel like everyone is running around managing other people's experience of them. And it's not your problem and none of your business. And if someone is not healthy enough to come to you reasonably with something they have to say, that's not your problem and none of your business. So we have a cottage, and we have a second cottage which we rent out. And we rented it to this lovely couple with their kids one year. And they brought their dogs and their cats, and I love animals, so that was great. I had some little cat time. And But anyway, when they left, I did, they cleaned the cottage. They did a great job, but I have to prepare it for the next person. And I noticed that the blankets that I had given on the beds smelled like dog. And so I had to wash them, and then I had to wash them a second time because you know how dog smell is. So instead of not telling them and being angry, which would be not their problem and none of their business, I just sent them an email. The next year when they were coming, I just said, hey, can you please bring your own blankets for your dogs? Because they were kind of smelly last year and it was hard to get the smell out. That was it. I just point blank asked for my needs to be met. There's nothing wrong with asking for your needs to be met. You don't go in, I can't believe you left the blankets like this. You don't have to go to character assassination. You just ask for your needs to be met and they can respond. That is the healthy way for us all to begin interacting. So she so appreciated that. She replied, I so appreciate your forthrightness. I just asked for my needs to be met, and it was a perfectly reasonable request. So when people come to my cottage and they stay with me in my cottage, a lot of people are doing that thing where they're taking responsibility for what my emotions or thoughts might be around what they're doing. Oh, I'm really sorry I made coffee this morning. I didn't want to wake you. That's okay. If I was upset that you woke me, I would say, hey, can you make coffee later? Or that's my responsibility. If I have needs that aren't being met, it's not their responsibility to wonder what they might be and say I'm sorry before they even know that I even have those thoughts. So there's no need to manage what you think other people might be thinking about what you do. Unless they come to you and tell you, hey, can we amend this? Or this was upsetting to me. Or hey, can we find a solution here? None of your business and not your problem. So I'll tell you another quick story. I have a young cousin, we'll call her Jenny, and she connected with another cousin of ours on Facebook. And the other cousin is into all this genealogy. She's got the family lines and the family history, and it's really great. And she just recently connected with her. Now, the one who's doing all the genealogy said, oh, I'm getting older. I need someone to take over this. Now, because Jenny doesn't know how to ask for her needs to be met. And in that case, her need is, I don't want to take that over. It's not something I'm interested in. I don't like it. So instead of just saying, oh, I'm not interested, but I really hope you find someone and I'm sure you will, instead of asking for her needs to be met, which was, I don't want to do it, she ghosted her. So instead of having to deal with how her other cousin might feel about her saying no, she just ghosted her. This is not the answer. This is not the solution. The solution is to say, no, I'm not interested in that. It's not Jenny's responsibility to fulfill this need of her cousin to find someone. It's not her job. She doesn't have to do that. And I'm sorry that you were looking for someone, and I hope you find them, that it's not my responsibility to fulfill that need. It's not your responsibility to fulfill the needs of everyone around you. Their needs are none of your business and not your responsibility. And it is their job to say, hey, would you be interested in taking this over? And you can say, yeah, I sure would. That'd be great. Or you can say no. And it's not my job to fulfill your needs. So I'd like to see us not taking responsibility for what other people's needs are. And it's their job to ask us directly. So I'd like to see us all asking for our needs to be met in loving, respectful, assertive, straightforward ways. And it's the other person's responsibility to say yes or no. That's it. So just start thinking about how much you may be taking responsibility for what someone else is thinking about what you do. Because I own the cottage, people will be coming up and having all sorts of thoughts. Did I cook enough? Did I pay attention to her enough? She wanted to go on the dock. I don't know if I wanted to go on the dock. How will she feel about it? Don't want to go for a walk with her. That's none of their business and not their problem. They don't need to meet my needs. They don't need to do that. They need to meet their own needs. And when our needs come together and are shared, that's great. So my cottage is kind of a microcosm for that. I just let the flow happen. Everybody just does what makes them happy. And sometimes they say, what would make you happiest? And I say, what makes me happiest is if you're happy. Because if you're here trying to wonder what I want you to do, that's not joyful for me. I don't want you, I just want you to be happy. So let's begin living in a world where we're in the flow and we do what makes us happy. And sometimes we'll come together and do things together, but we don't need to be taking responsibility for what other people are feeling. Not our job and none of our business. So cut it out. Thanks for listening. I'll be back. Sandra here. Thanks for joining me. If you liked this video, please smash that thumbs up button and share it with others. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to support me, please visit my website at sandydolls.com, where you can purchase some of my products like t-shirts, mugs, tote bags, and more. Along with generating great content for you, one of my other passions is creating my Sandedoll art. I've designed a special edition titled I Only Answer to Me, to help remind you that what others think of you is none of your business. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll be notified of future videos. See you next time.